Good morning, children. The today's topic for the maths class is quadratic equations. Now the weightage of this chapter is 3 plus 4, 7 marks. There will be one question of 3 marks that will come from solving of quadratic equation by formula method or from the nature of roots. And the 4-mark question will come from the problems on quadratic equation. Now here in this class I am going to tell you how to solve quadratic equation by using the formula method and finding its solution, that is called the roots of quadratic equation, correct to decimal places or significant figures. That means the concept of approximation of numbers will be used here. Now the general and standard form of the quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0 in variable x, where abc belongs to real numbers and a shouldn't be 0. If a is 0, you see this equation turns out to be bx plus c, and that is a linear equation. Now the formula for solving this equation is already been given to you in the prior classes, that is x is equals to minus b plus minus under root of b square minus 4ac. This expression has to be in the entire square root. Whole upon, cover the b also under the denominator, writing 2a. Now this is a formula where a, b, c you can see are the coefficients of x square, coefficient of x and constant term respectively. Let's do one sum. Solve x square plus 7x equals to 7 and give roots, that is solutions, correct to 2 decimal places. Now this equation has to be brought to the standard form with all terms on the one side of equality. So we shift 7 from this side and make it minus 7 equals to 0. And identify the value of a, b and c. So a is 1, b is 7, c is minus 7. And then we substitute these values of a, b, c correctly in the correct formula. The substitution of values in the correct formula has to be done for getting 1 mark. You must write this particular step. Do not reach directly to this step. Now after having substituted the values, we found that here value of c is negative. So put this within the bracket, and when this c gets multiplied with this negative in the formula, it becomes positive. So it comes out to be plus 28 added to it. So we get under root 77. Now to find out the square root of an irrational number which will come in this formula method by solving, you have to use mathematical tables in the examinations, whereas doing at school or at home you need your book. At the end pages of your book you will find there is a table written on the top is square roots from 10 to 100. On the last corner you will find the numbers, and adjacent to the numbers are mentioned their square roots. So if you are to find under root 77, then you look at this root 77, and next to root 77 you find it's written 8.775. So we'll copy down the value from there as 8.775 and solve it further. Now when you solve it, we'll get the value as by adding 8.775 to minus 7, we get 1.775 divided by 2, which reduces to 0.8875, and here minus 7 minus 8.775 both are to be added in this case because both are negative. So negative 15.775 divided by 2. So when we have divided by 2, we get 0.8875, whereas in this case we get minus 7.8875. Now, since the answer has to be found correct to 2 decimal places, the approximation of number says that we have to always see a number after the required places. So, we look at the third decimal place. The third decimal place here is 7, which is more than 5. So, the number prior to it will increase by 1. So, the answer is 0.89. Similarly here, the number in the third decimal place is 7. So the number prior to it, that is 8, increases by 1, becomes 9. So the answer is minus 7.89, correct to 2 decimal places. Both the answers have to be represented in the solution. This is must. Otherwise, you lose the answer mark in the board examinations. Now, similarly, pick up the next example, which is x minus 18 upon x is equals to 6. We have to solve correct to two significant figure. Now, when we simplify the equation by taking x as the LCM here, we get x square minus 18 upon x is equals to 6. 6 gets cross multiplied, and then the 6x has to be shifted towards the left side as the second term, because the x component has to be the always second term. So we'll bring it here, minus 6x, and then we'll write minus 18 equals to 0. Identify the value of ABC, substitute the values of ABC correctly in the correct formula, and when you substitute the values, we get the expression 6 plus minus under root of 36 plus 72. This again minus into minus becomes plus. So plus 72, it becomes under root of 108. Now children, you won't find the square root of number more than 100 in this book, in this table also. So what you have to do to find, then you convert this number into third form. That is by finding its factors. That is dividing it by. So what you find? You find that 2 and 2, 3 are paired up. 2 and 3 are paired up. So we get 6 root 3. 2 3s are 6. 6 root 3. 3 is unpaired. So 6 root 3 is the square root. This is the third form of 108. We substitute that value here, 6 root 3. And root 3 value we can find out from the square root table, or you should know the value of root 3 and root 2 and root 5. So root 3 is 1.732. Do not write as 1.73 or 1.7. Write completely up to 3 decimal places. 1.732. Multiply with 6, it becomes 10.732. Adding to 6 and subtracting, we again get this 2, and dividing by 2, we get 8.196 or minus 2.196. Again, since you have to find answer correct to two significant figures, so you have to look for third significant figures to get the approximate number. So we look for the third significant figure. This is the first figure, first significant, second, third place of significant is 9. So 9 is more than 5. It increases the number prior to it by 1, so it becomes 8.2. Similarly here, the third significant number is 9. So again it rounds off the 1 here, it becomes 2. So your answer is minus 2.2. Correct to two significant figures. Now children, I shall be giving you assignment on this on the WhatsApp. Kindly do those sums as well. Thank you.